searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Join us Friday, January 10th as the Lincoln Stars host USA Hockey National Team Development Program for Star Wars Night at the Ice Box. It's the first of two games this weekend, January 10th and 11th, as the Stars take on the U-17s in a pair of games at the Ice Box. Don't forget to join us on Saturday as well, as it's Buddy Pass Night in the capital city. Tickets for both games are available for purchase now, and you can head over to LincolnStars.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: partly sunny skies this morning, then a chance of snow this afternoon. It'll be breezy too with the high near 38. Tonight, mainly cloudy and breezy with the low around 21. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies return with the high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School with DP and J.
It would take a different type of team to recruit Jay Foreman coming out of high school. Because I didn't lift weights. I didn't do any of that. I didn't do camp. So you had to have somebody that had some vision. Well, they don't. A lot of these coaches right now, and especially with the 105 and NIL, they don't have to have vision right now. You saw what Deion Sanders says. Look, I'm recruiting 8 to 10 guys out of high school. I expect you to play. If you don't play by your first year or showing that you're going to be able to be a starter or contributor by the second year, you're gone.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome in. It is a Thursday edition of the show, Thursday, January 9th. Glad you are here. Glad you are with us. Hope you find something you can engage with today. 402-464-5685. If at any point in the show you've got any thoughts on anything that we are talking about here on the program, we would love to hear from you. I'm Austin Norman with you at 1040 O Street. On the road is my partner, my man, Strick 20. What's up, partner? How you doing today?
There it is. There it is. Weather is what's going on. It's ice cold. Here's the crazy thing about
What's
that.
cooler than being cool, Strick? Ice cold.
Ice cold, right? But here's the crazy thing, right? I'm talking to all my folks, my Dallas folks. I'm seeing, you check your social medias and see what's going out there, whether it be in news and sports and life and, shout out, not shout out, but, our condolences to all those who have lost. I had to reach out to my brother, who is also in the LA area, and found out he's good. A couple of good close friends as I used to live in the LA area a long time ago. So I still have some good friends out there and find out that everybody's okay that I know. But there are some people that aren't okay and with everything that's going on out there and have lost their livelihoods, their homes, their businesses, and all that stuff. So our hearts and minds go out to them. We always like to shout them out here on the block because we are a family affair. All our blockheads, we care about them and their families as well. We thank you for their communication with us throughout the day here on the block on the Sauter Heyman text line or by way of stream, or sometimes even they call in. So, but what was crazy, I reached out to some of my peoples in the Dallas area and find out that they're getting snow. Like, I'm like, the awkwardness on that, right? You know, here in Nebraska, we haven't gotten any of that yet. And there in Texas, you know, what? 3 states south of us, and they're getting snow and we're not. It's a crazy dynamic that's going on right now. It's really wild.
That it is. We will see if or how that affects the Cotton Bowl tomorrow between Ohio State and Texas. We'll get into that here momentarily on the show. But of course, Stricky, it's a Thursday, which means it's a Thirsty Thursday. I see you sipping on a little something. Not like that, though. It's a little bit different. But hey, this is your thing. Lead us off with Topic Pong. What you got for us?
Thirsty Thursday Topic Pong. We're going to jump it off. It is popping. It is cracking. Obviously, you know that we had the opportunity to play against the UCLA team, a ranked team at the time at 15. That's probably not going to be the case at the end of the weekend after taking a shellacking by way of Michigan. And in doing so, Mick Cronin, 53-year-old, I mean, it's crazy because I think I still look sexy, you know what I'm saying? Mick Cronin looking a little older than you know, a lot older than Strick. And that goes to show you sometimes the stresses and all the things that go on with coaches. He had expressed something in a conference, a presser after the game, and it was pretty enlightening. Do we have that soundbite or
we do? Yes, we do have the soundbite. Here's Mick Cronin.
Obviously, they shot the ball well, but we don't play. We're soft. You know, we're too soft to play hard enough. Even in the crucials, you can't get an offensive rebound. You know, it's like a 5-point game, and Kobe Johnson just has a guy take the ball from him. Same thing with Sebastian Mack. Okay, we finally do get a stop. Can't get a defensive rebound. They didn't have a million of them because they didn't miss that many shots. But there was a few in particular. Kobe, Sebastian, huge, back-breaking. And you got inside position. So don't tell me you want to win. Like, just don't tell me you want to win. You won't start the game. Tyler Bilodeau gave up 12 points. 2 screens, he didn't say a word, 3s, and then he got dunked on 3 times. So don't tell me you want to win.
What do you think, Stricky?
So that was what we talked about, right? That's something of the things that we talked about. And I had mentioned on the block yesterday, if you get an opportunity, go back, check it out, whether it be on Spotify or you can go to theticketfm.com, check out the podcast. This is the stuff that we talked about. And voila, lo and below, Mick Cronin happens to talk about it because I spoke about the willingness and the desire and the want and how you have to step out of mediocrity and go up to another level. And it takes heart, it takes determination, it takes will, it takes strength and hardness collectively. It's a mentality. It's a thing that's required. And it's something that I believe is lacking across the board. Those that want that are top tier teams. They're the ones that have the abilities to go on the road, get the energy from themselves, make a play, do something extra. And that's the same thing that we didn't see when Nebraska found his way out at Iowa. 15-point lead. There's no way you should allow a team to get back into that game. And there's things that you do in that. I talked about that extra effort especially on the defensive side. It's the communication. It's these little breakdowns that you just can't have. You have to be consistent. Doesn't matter if you're at home or you're on the road. Mick Cronin spoke about that. He talked about the softness. He talked about why is it that when he shows up on the practice court, We didn't get to hear that part, but that's okay. I'll tell you a little bit more. Why is it that when I show up, he talked about his coaching staff too. He said it ain't just the players, the coaching staff too. You see him call people by name. What I love about it, why is it, he said, that I have more energy? I want it more for them than they want it for themselves. But then he calls people by name. That's something that most coaches won't do. And I think what it sets the tone for, and in the way that he's coaching, it's an old school method, but it's a thing that old school coaches would do, is I would much rather lose with those who have heart, will, determination, than to win with those that are just super talented, can go out and do it, because you're not going to be consistent. Overall, those that do the right things more times than not will win out on those that just have talent. Talent can only take you so far. It's those that collectively have a one-mindedness when they're getting on that court that allows you to be able to win more games consistently. Mick Cronin spoke about that today. We talked about it on the block yesterday.
We did, and you saw this coming. You heard what Mick Cronin said, and it's not just Mick Cronin who's thinking these things, right? He's not alone, certainly, in feeling that way, I'm sure. I found it interesting, Strick, that's now 2 post-game pressers in a row that Mick Cronin has called his players out by name. In the first one against Nebraska, he calls out Dylan Andrews and Trent Perry for not playing well, for not taking advantage of opportunities that Mick Cronin told them they were going to have with Eric Daly out for that game. Okay, that one I wasn't quite sold. All right, those are young guys who are still learning their role. Yeah, they weren't very good. I didn't understand calling them out by name there. Like, no one on UCLA shot well. No one on UCLA was consistent against Nebraska. So I didn't understand that one. I understand a lot more of why Mick Cronin would call players out after Michigan, especially because of who it was he called out. Andrews and Perry are guys that are just learning the college game, right? Yeah, they're halfway through their freshman years or redshirt freshman years, whatever it is. They should probably know a little bit better, but Kobe Johnson's been around the game, Sebastian Mack has been around the game, and Tyler Bilodeau's been around the game. Those are probably UCLA's 3 best and 3 most consistent players. If you look at the box score, I'm sure those guys put up good numbers. But what Mick Cronin is doing is he is challenging his best guys to be even better. He's challenging his best guys to take some pressure off the backs of some of the young players and saying, guys, I know we're asking a lot of you, but if you want to win, we need extra effort from you, right? None of this baseline stuff, that's gotten us beat our last 2 games. But I really like the move that Mick Cronin made to, in public, call these guys out, because you know he's addressed it in private, right? Mick Cronin is not just going to talk just to talk. He's a good coach. He's a well-respected coach. He's not going to throw guys under the bus in a post-game press conference if he hasn't already had these conversations with them off the court, which is why I don't mind him naming those players and calling out those plays.
Yeah. That's kind of how it goes down. Again, it's an old school method. Will it work? I don't know. Sometimes it takes those things to get an awakening. Sometimes it's things that are going on in practice that you're seeing, and it's kind of this thing that I was talking to someone about just recently, and he thanked me for kind of having sometimes people will call me and they'll say, hey, can you talk to my son or can you talk to my daughter? And I'll say, okay, what message are you trying to convey? And so then I will construct a message based on something in my past that I've dealt with or I've had to overcome or whatever the case may be, and I'll speak to them. And sometimes it's hearing that message from someone else instead of the coach or the parent or whatever the case may be. And the sad thing is, in today's society, with the way that things have been laid out with NIL, some things that Deion has talked about, Deion Sanders has talked about early on in his time, whether it be at Jackson State or when he went over to Colorado, is this one particular thing that he said. He said, it's hard for me to get some of these young men to listen when they're making more money than some of my coaches are. And that's something to consider. And that's the thing about it, is you've got a bunch of yes men parents, you've got a bunch of yes men, neighbors, brothers, friends, people from the hood and the city, wherever it is, they're telling you things that are not necessarily conducive to you having a success in the long run. It's causing you to have a if I'm not getting my way, jump mentality. It's calling all these different things that is not leading to you being able to look at that situation, look at what was said, internalize it, take it in constructively, and then make yourself better out of it. And sometimes they go on a shell, sometimes they get quiet, sometimes they start moping, and then you get all this stuff instead of, taking it actively. I think that's one of the things that was good about me. I took it. I may always like it. Maybe I didn't even think it was right, but at least I was a capable listener and actively listening. And if you have a good relationship, you understand that it's for my betterment. It's not to hurt me. It's not to hinder. And matter of fact, if a coach is talking to you or a parent is talking to you, that means they love you. You see what I'm saying? You need to worry when they're not talking. That's when you need to worry. If I'm not talking to you, then that's something you might want to worry about. And so that's the thing that goes with it.
I like it. On my first topic?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about this, Stricky? Some breaking news in the last hour. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck likely to withdraw from the NFL draft and enter the NCAA football transfer portal. What a turn of events for a guy that was in the conversation to be QB1 before the year, played himself into a, middle of the first round pick. And now some people were saying, yeah, much better to go back to college than be a fourth round pick. Not a great year for Carson Beck compared to what people thought. A 64.7% completion percentage, just shy of 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns against 12 interceptions. And Georgia falls in the college football playoff quarterfinals, but without him at the helm because, of course, he suffers that arm injury. Let's just start with that, Strick. What do you make of Carson Beck withdrawing from the NFL draft and entering the transfer portal instead?
Well, it's the injury thing. So you don't, I think Carson Beck doesn't view himself as one of those top 3, top 4 quarterbacks. Let's just be honest about it. It's not going to Cam Ward, Shador. You got Howard. There's other guys that are probably going to, fare out better than him. I don't know. You can name off probably a couple others that are out there. But the injury is then what's the setback, right? You're not going to get to play in any of these bowls. You're not going to probably get to throw in the combine. It's an injury to your throwing arm. Yeah. So you still want to be able to show. You don't want to lose your draft stock just because there's uncertainty about the injury. So I can understand why he pulls his name out. The issue is the transfer situation. So when you look at the transfer, you look at that quarterback room, there's probably going to be a lot of competition. You got a chance to see Gunnar Stockton. I think Gunnar Stockton as a redshirt sophomore is going to get a lot better. He learned a lot out of that playoff game. There's going to be a lot of competition in that room. We know the situation with Jaden Rashada, who was there, definitely in his young career that is marred with a lot of off-field controversies rather than on-field results. You gotta look at that situation as him being there as well. It's going to be a lot of competition in that room. Could be an NIL situation of money, and also with the uncertainty, he wants to be able to go, not necessarily fully have to have an onslaught of competition to fight for the position. It's obviously going to be a winning program. He's going to want to definitely go to where he's going to have a shot to be able to continue to put up numbers. He may go to some place. He may go deal with Belichick. He may go out there and deal with North Carolina. He may go somewhere where he feels he's going to have an opportunity to be able to redeem and show that he's a capable quarterback in the next draft upcoming or the following draft thereafter.
On3 put out 3 schools that seem to be the front runners for Carson Beck right now, and then Pete Thamel of ESPN named one of these 3 as a team he's hearing a lot of hearsay about for Carson Beck to transfer to. The 3 teams, Strick, according to On3, Texas Tech, Ohio State, Miami. You like any of those for Carson Beck? Do you like Carson Beck for any of them?
Well, obviously you saw what Miami was able to do for Cam Ward's stock. So you can't fault him for that idea. Texas Tech has always been known to want a good quarterback that can fling it, that can sling it a little bit, because obviously they're not going to be able to do it like many of the other Texas teams in Texas. And but Ohio State would be an interesting one. If I'm him and I want to redeem myself, you got to think about the competition factor. It's basically a cross move from Georgia, or horizontal move from Georgia to Ohio State. But obviously what it did for Will Howard as well, coming out of Kansas State. And you got to look at what that wide receiver room, what you got to throw to. So that's something to consider as well. I can understand all of those, and there's no problem with it.
Bamel is saying Miami is his front runner to land Carson Beck, which would be an absolutely fascinating move. Just really quickly on the Georgia side of things, I'm curious to see if they go get someone in the transfer portal. Then I liked what I saw out of Gunnar Stockton. I really did. Big arm, that was readily apparent. That's a tough test going up against Notre Dame. But Strick, it wouldn't shock me if Georgia is in the market for like a bridge guy, like we talk about in the NFL. Just kind of hold down the fort until you're sure this guy is ready. A starting caliber quarterback, but one at Georgia's level is kind of hard to find, right? Because when you think about a bridge quarterback, you think about a pretty bad to lower tier NFL team that just picked a quarterback pretty high. They need a guy to hold it down for a year or two until the next guy is ready. Maybe Gunnar Stockton, takes a leap over the offseason and he's the guy that's at Georgia's level. But Georgia's in an interesting position where it's championship or bust for them. That's the way they're set up. Anything less than that is going to be a disappointment. So you can't just go get some nobody, that guy was okay at his previous stops and bank on your talent elevating him. You got to be serious. You got to be legit at the quarterback position. So if Georgia is going to get a guy out of the portal, my guess is it would have to be a pretty big name for outside voices to feel pretty good about Georgia's chances to win the championship. Or you have to get that veteran guy like a Jalen Gramstad, like Nebraska got, that's not really a threat to Gunnar Stockton. You're putting all your eggs in that basket where he feels the competition. He feels, the weight of the role on his shoulders and how seriously he has to take it. But he's not always looking over his shoulder when he's playing through some of the mistakes early on.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Back to you. Your second topic of the day, Stricky.
So the Cavs went out, and we talked about that matchup. Best offense, best defense, home record, road record. We had all the comparisons and what it looked like going into this game. So now we find that the Cavs ended up pulling out that win against 129. High-scoring Cavs team got up there to where they are, which is pretty good against a very good defensive team in the Thunder. Takes it 129 to 122. The usual suspects did a thing, but I think the unusual suspect of this game, an unsung hero, was Jared Allen going for 25, 11, and 6. Woo! Showed out in this game for the Cavs offense. He's a defensive presence, but he showed up on the offensive side, and he was one of the ones that helped to propel them to this win. Big win, because it's crazy. You've always looked at the East being the least of the strength of the conferences, usually very top tier heavy, and won the championship. But now you find that another team is emerging to challenge in the East, beating the best of the West. Do you see a shift now as far as the power structure to the East, or is it still too early to tell?
I think it's still too early to tell. I think we talked about, was it yesterday when we were previewing this game? The East has the top level teams that you feel good about their ability to compete for a championship. When you look at Cleveland, when you look at Boston, and I'm even going to throw the Knicks in that conversation as well. I like that roster and think it'll round into form. After that is a whole bunch of wait and see. Whereas in the West, I think you have the clear number one right now in Oklahoma City, but that second tier into the third tier is a lot deeper than it is out East. So
shaky.
Right. So I
don't know. One minute the Mavs look like they're about to take it, then they fall off. Next minute, Denver looks like they're emerging, fall off. It's just this roller coaster ride of runs as far as wins and losses, and it's kind of crazy going on right now. And a game or two can literally launch you from third to eighth That's how crazy it is in that mid tier of the West right now.
That's why I'm not exactly sold right now. I think that the teams in the East will have. I don't even know. It's too early to say. But both conferences are fine. They're just a little bit different in how they're structured right now through just about 40 games in the NBA season. When we look at this game, though, Strick, I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was, like you said, Jarrett Allen, but also Evan Mobley continuing his really good year. 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists for him. This is a matchup where Oklahoma City specifically needs Chet Holmgren because of what Cleveland is able to do with its two bigs, right? Hartenstein is a pretty traditional big who's okay on the perimeter guarding, but what Chet can do in freeing Hartenstein up to roam and then vice versa, you could just tell Cleveland was a little taller, maybe a little more skilled across the board. Playing on their home court certainly didn't help, but it was the depth for Cleveland that really came through. Mostly, Strick, I'm just excited we get another matchup of these two teams in a week. This one's going to be in OKC. It was a Cleveland style of game. I mean, shoot, Oklahoma City scored 43 points in the third, but allowed 41 of their own, weren't really able to cut into their halftime deficit. I'm curious to see if OKC can leverage its identity and slow the game down a little bit more when the Cavs come visit Oklahoma City next week.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's go to break there. We'll just go to break there. We're up against it.
We'll talk real quick, man. Shout out to Chris Crutchfield getting it done.
How about the Mavs, Stricky? 3-0 in the Summit.
Yeah. Man, but hold on. Started off struggling early. Tough games. You're playing some big time talent, but now you're rolling, baby. You got 5 straight for them. Getting ready to bump heads with South Dakota State. Shout out to Crutch.
How about him? That's a guy we've had on the show before. Maybe if they keep that up, we have to look into getting Coach Crutch back on the airways.
Yeah, that's a great start. Great start there. Yeah.
Stay tuned for that. Omaha 9-9 overall, 3-0 in Summit League play, taking down the preseason pick to win the league in UMKC last night at Baxter Arena in Omaha. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll talk some college football playoff semifinals. They start tonight. What are we watching for? Who are we rooting for? Who are we rooting against? We'll get into all that and more when we get back to On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through January 14th is $2 off beef jerky, $2 off ready-to-eat meals, and 20% off all candy. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Limitless Mail has redefined the little blue pill with our new ED trochees that melt in your mouth, delivering faster results so you can be spontaneous again. Once you try the Limitless Mail trochee, you won't go back to the little blue pill. Our trochees go right to the source through your bloodstream, leading to quicker, harder results. To experience the difference for yourself and your partner, schedule a free consult with the men's health experts at limitlessmail.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Hey farmers, join Boyk Farm Outfitters at Precision Planning's Winter Conference, happening January 22nd and 23rd at Innovation Campus in Lincoln. At Winter Conference, they'll cover topics like fertilizer inputs, weed management, spraying technologies, and priorities of the planter pass, to name a few. It's your chance to see new research that'll put you and your farm ahead of the curve, and it's free to attend. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this event's for you. Visit BoykFarmOutfitters.com for all the details and to reserve your spot today.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back into On the Block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. We turn our attention to the college football playoff semifinals. That's right. We are down to 4. Game 1 taking place tonight. Stricky, let's just start with that one. We get the Orange Bowl taking place between Penn State and Notre Dame. This is a matchup that on paper is between 2 really talented teams that play pretty similar styles. Their statistical profiles are pretty similar, and we can get to that. But first and foremost, I think the question is, who are you rooting for? Do you have a preference? Who wins this game? Penn State, Notre Dame? Are you indifferent? Do you like one more than the other? Are you grossed out by both teams? Where are you at with it?
Well, let me give you a few things to note take on this. It's been quite a long time since either Notre Dame and Penn State have reached the college football's top of the mountain as national champions, the pinnacle. It has been since 1988 for the Fighting Irish and 1986 for the Nittany Lions. So we've seen from both of these teams good seasons, bad seasons, getting there, coming up short, except for the Nittany Lions, but definitely for Notre Dame. And so a lot of things have changed. The football landscape has changed. But now they find themselves back here with an opportunity. It is also the 20th meeting between these two teams. So you have that they split the first 19, going 9-9-1, and they haven't met since September of 2007. So those are some of the backgrounds of that, right? You have to one other thing to note, just before I answer that question, right? Penn State, when they joined the Big Ten in 1993 season, here's the good news for Notre Dame. It has won the last 6 games that have been played in NFL stadiums. That's so Hard Rock Stadium, where the Dolphins play.
The Dolphins.
That's a good look for them. So you would think, right? But here's the bad news for the Fighting Irish. Hard Rock Stadium is also not a fun place, not a good look for the Irish, because they're 0-2 in that stadium, losing 42-14 to Alabama in the BCS championship game. And then that also in 2012, they lost 41-8 to the Miami Hurricanes in 2017. So it is not a good look. You have the good and the bad going in both of those situations for the Fighting Irish. So for me, right, it's not a good look for them. So I'm a Big Ten guy, being that Nebraska's in the Big Ten. I'm going to support the Big Ten. I want the Big Ten to win. And I'm mad because Notre Dame should have jumped in the Big Ten. And that's something I'm going to talk about after I allow you to talk. I'm going to dig into that part of it in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a couple things on the text line and then from Twitter. Husker Jim on Twitter says, 2 of my most hated teams of all time. If you make me pick the lesser of 2 evils, though, I'll take the Irish, although an all Big Ten national championship would be kind of funny. Notre Dame, like you said, kind of an honorary Big Ten team, but not really a Big Ten team. It's said no to a lot of overtures from the Big Ten in years past. So Husker Jim on Twitter is saying he's taking the Irish as his favorable team in tonight's game. Old Dad 34 is with you, Stricky. He says an all Big Ten natty would be nice. Let's just get into that a little briefly. I know there's been a lot of talk in Notre Dame, joining a conference or not joining a conference. It seems like it worked out pretty well for him this year. I think this is more evidence to Notre Dame that they don't need to join a conference, not evidence that they do.
Yeah, so that's the question I would have, right? Is it time for them to join, or have they missed their time? And Sauter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Do you think it's imperative or important, super important, for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to have a great showing in this playoff, whether it be getting to the finals again and playing well or winning it? Or if they don't, do you think they should look to join? Because I think it's going to come a point where they might, continue to, get the side eye if they don't improve in this college football playoff, which I think then it would be to the betterment of the program to then look at whether or not a conference would be an option. What say you?
I get the argument. I just think that given that Notre Dame made this playoff, given that Marcus Freeman seems like he's the coach of the future, they've had good years, they've been competitive. They didn't play Murderer's Row by any means, but they didn't play a terrible schedule either. I mean, they got both.
But they lost to Northern Illinois. Stop it. No, I'm just playing. 14-12. I mean, that's kind of gotten forgotten by now.
That's one game, right? They beat A&M on the road. They beat Navy and Army that both won 10 games this year.
I knew you was going to defend them.
I'm just
You're
saying.
a homer. You're an Indiana homer. That's why you got on the Indianapolis Colts hat. You're an Indiana homer right now.
If anything, I'm anti-Notre Dame. I'm a Lutheran. I broke away from those people. I'm not about it. So, no. I'm just looking at the football, man. This ain't that deep. I'm just looking at the football. And the football tells me that, hey, Notre Dame qualified for the playoff, the 12-team playoff here in this setting. And here's the other part about this, Strick. Notre Dame, given that it's an independent, doesn't have to share its playoff revenue with anyone. It gets the whole shebang, the whole bang. They get all the paperwork. Penn State and Ohio State are in the same spot as Notre Dame. They have to share some of their revenue with the conference, with their conference mates. So, yeah, the rest of us might want Notre Dame to join a conference, but I honestly think the way this season has played out, has given Notre Dame all the evidence it needs that, yeah, we're good. We don't actually have to join a conference.
Okay. Respect. What say you guys? I want to know what the blockheads have to say. Are you going with the Indiana Homer in Austin Orman, or are you going with Strick? I want to know. Talk to me. 402-464-5685.
On that text line,
stogie.
On that text line, 5284 says their schedule gives them the opportunity to not have to show up every week. So,
right.
I mean, I think we can get rid of that argument because they play a good number of ACC schools. They play essentially an ACC schedule still. It's not like they're just crisscrossing the country every week. They do still have that scheduling agreement with the ACC. So you still get those games against Clemson, those games against Florida State. Virginia Tech, I think, would be a fun one for Notre Dame in the near future, right? North Carolina, if they ever get them and Bill Belichick, would be fun. So, yeah, no, the ACC is not a huge, powerful conference right now, but it's a Power 4 conference. They're playing same number of conference games, not for the conference championship, but they get a good number of ACC games. That's fine by me because, again, yeah, they had a bye game in Northern Illinois. They tricked it off. They did. But I don't know if they made up for the bad loss, but they at least scheduled tougher in going to A&M, and they got the series with USC as well.
I like Kenny. Kenny, talk to him. Tell Austin about himself right now. All that bull crap he dookie out right now. The blue dookie.
We're not doing this again. We are not doing the blue dookie again. We are moving on from that. Once was too much. Twice is overboard. Let's hit the text line. 5284. We just addressed you. Thunder not College. As a Catholic, I have to laugh at this. LOL. Tommy says, I personally think there are going to be changes to the playoff format starting next year, either expansion or rule changes. If it expands, there's no way they could push Notre Dame into a conference because they made it and won games in a more selective format. The closest I think we get to Notre Dame in a quote-unquote conference, Strick, is if the Power 4 splits off from the Group of 5. We get those two kind of tiers of Division I football where you have the Power 4 70, then the remaining 60 odd teams in that second group. Notre Dame's almost assuredly in that top 70, and then they'll be more in a pod or a division. But I think in that case, you don't have traditional conferences like we're thinking of. It would be more like the scheduling agreement that Notre Dame has had with the ACC than anything. And that's the closest I think we're going to get to Notre Dame being in a conference for the next 25 years.
Okay, I like it. So who you rooting for?
Oh, Penn State.
Yeah.
Absolutely rooting for Penn State.
Because I think it's two teams. This is an interesting situation. It's two teams that have been shellacked and haven't lived up to the billing. And now, I know a lot of the, I don't even want to say, a lot of people are just talking about, two black coaches. Bump that. It's two good teams that have been struggling a little bit. They're going to get an opportunity now to show and prove. I just hope it's a good game. I really do.
I think it's going to be. And while we talk a little bit about the game, another few minutes here on this segment, if you take this game in a vacuum, I would prefer Penn State beat Notre Dame just on its face, right? Yeah, there's plenty of gripes I have with Penn State. I'm not saying I like them, but I do enjoy Drew Aller. I do like Penn State's running game, and I do like a number of pieces on that defense. So it's nothing about the program or other programs at Penn State, but I like a lot of the pieces individually on that Penn State team. And I'm not as big of an underdog guy as you are, Stricky, but Penn State is like not even the maid of honor. Penn State's the bridesmaid, right? It's everyone else that's getting married. If it's Ohio State, maybe Michigan's the maid of honor. They've swapped places over the last few years. And then Penn State's just kind of in that lineup of bridesmaids. Up there, you notice them, you talk about them, you see them, but it's never their turn to get married, right? They're not going home with a ring on their finger. And there's just been a part of me over the last few years. It's like, yeah, it'd be nice to see Penn State take down Ohio State and Michigan. So while not rooting for Penn State, I've probably preferred the Nittany Lions win a couple of those matchups more so than they have over the last few years. But the reason I might walk that back a little bit, Strick, is because I don't want to see Penn State, Ohio State again. I really don't. I am one of the most anti-conference rooting guys you will probably ever find, right? Yeah, Nebraska gets money from these guys appearing in the game. I don't care. I want Nebraska in that game. I don't want the money from the game. I want Nebraska in the game. That's what I want. I'm not rooting for other Big Ten teams to have success. You can't make me do it. And I already think Ohio State's going to beat Texas. We'll talk more about this game tomorrow. I think that's another interesting matchup. I think Ohio State's going to beat Texas. And I don't really want to see an Ohio State-Penn State game because Penn State doesn't beat Ohio State. It's not how they operate. They're little brother. They've never gotten over that hump. I don't want to see Penn State come up, 3 plays short against Ohio State in the national championship game like they have in every regular season matchup for the last 5 years. So I think Ohio State-Notre Dame would be a great Jersey matchup. It'd be great for, the North, I guess, for college football. It wouldn't be a conference versus conference championship game, which, again, not rooting for the Big Ten. Don't like a lot of those other schools there.
Neighbors, too.
Neighbors.
Ohio State, Indiana.
Lots of history. That would be an ego matchup for the ages. So in a vacuum, I'm picking Penn State. I'm rooting for Penn State. I like what Penn State does a little bit better than Notre Dame. But if my prediction is right and Ohio State wins, I would rather see Ohio State play Notre Dame than I would see them play Penn State.
Sounds good to me. Love it.
That's where I'm at with it. Let's go to break. We'll play the shootout with Strick. We'll just do the tiebreaker question since someone decided to duck the game by not being in studio today. He's 1-0 on the year. This game will not count for the record. In fact, dude.
Stricky don't push it.
You want the actual caller today? You want it?
No. I want to give away the Stricken. I just want to give away the Strick. It's cold outside. Somebody needs to, bite on some hot chicken. I want to just give away the Strick. I don't want to take it out of pause. I don't want to take it out of somebody's mouth. The bone. Pause.
Okay, we'll play the tiebreaker question. Shootout with Strick, brought to you by our friends at Buffalo Wings and Rings to wrap up hour 1 of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
What's it take to be a mentor with big brothers, big sisters? It takes 30 minutes and a cup of coffee. A video game, that's 2 out of 3. It takes sharing thumbs up emojis, clapping emojis, and loaded nachos at halftime. That's how you make an impact on a young kid's life. So go on, share a few hours a month, because mentorship may sound huge, but the truth is, it takes little to be big. To learn more, volunteer, or donate, go to bebignow.org.
Early break.
I need to know what the definition of a chandelier is.
Chandelier?
Yeah. Does the same too?
I think so.
When I think chandelier, I think like an old-timey big light that's fancy, that's bedazzled, basically. It's got fancy looking.
Yeah, of course.
It's not jewelry, but it's got fancy elements to it.
No, I know what you mean.
That's a regular nice light
hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
An emergency can happen any moment. Here's a few seconds to think about where you'd go. At CHI Health, we stand ready to care for any emergency. Our specialists provide expert care when you need it most and believe healing is more powerful when delivered with human kindness. When seconds matter, know CHI Health St. Elizabeth is accredited in stroke care and offers the region's only ER just for kids. Learn more at chihealth.com/St. Elizabeth Emergency.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more.
Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Join us Friday, January 10th as the Lincoln Stars host USA Hockey National Team Development Program for Star Wars Night at the Ice Barns. It's the first of 2 games this weekend, January 10th and 11th, as the Stars take on the U17s in a pair of games at the Ice Barns. Don't forget to join us on Saturday as well, as it's Buddy Pass Night in the capital city. Tickets for both games are available for purchase now, and you can head over to LincolnStars.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
We just need the first texter with the right answer to Strick's question. Not doing it on the phone, but Stricky has promised he will be back on Tuesday to defend his record. This one is not going on the record. It is not going on the record. He is the champ. He did win on Tuesday to start the year off, but Stricky, you're remote. We're just doing one question. I am not counting this for the record. I'm counting this as a practice round for you, just in full disclosure.
Okay.
Tiebreaker question for $30 at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations. Major League Baseball pitcher Edwin Jackson holds the record for playing for the most different MLB franchises. Strick, how many different franchises did Edwin Jackson play for?
Ocho.
Stricky says ocho. First texter in, over, under, or push Strick's answer will get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Old Dad 34 on the text line. Strick says, Austin, I can't cheer for Notre Dame or Texas. I am with Stricky and Jay Foreman. So we have another person here, Strick, rooting for that all Big Ten championship game for college football. Not just a Big Ten championship, but a college football championship. And that's kind of the point, is that there aren't good options, right? Notre Dame, yeah, Nebraska's played them a few times. Maybe not a whole lot of hate there, a lot of arrogance there, right? That's kind of the perception of that fan base. Look at Penn State. They just beat Nebraska in volleyball. That's been a heated rivalry, 1980s. The sideline moves. Texas ruined Nebraska's exit from the Big 12 and running the Big 8 and everything that goes into that. And Ohio State's curb stomped Nebraska the majority of the time they've played them. And again, a certain level of arrogance there that I don't think Husker fans have a bunch of respect for Ohio State fans. If I'm, just an average fan in Nebraska, I don't know who I would pick to root for in this game. They're all bad options. It's gross.
I mean, for me, that's how I am, man. I'm gonna roll, because here's why I think more so than any. I definitely hear your point, and your point has some plausibility to it. But I've just been hearing SEC for all these years, and they've been pretty dominant. I mean, you got to look at the dynasty of Saban. You got, LSU popped their head in there a few times. Auburn, poked their head out like a whack-a-mole one time, and Florida, and you just continue to go down the list of them, and I'm tired. I want to see some. I want to see some fresh. That would guarantee a Big Ten, and it's been quite a while. I'd have to look at the number of how long it's been. Well, what? Ohio State was the last one. What was that?
No, Michigan last year, Stricky.
Oh, Michigan was. That's right. Well, see, I want to see some more dominance there.
Before that, it would have been Ohio State, where they won the second college football playoff, upset Bama and Oregon, I believe it was, to win that championship. So
yeah,
4-seed Ohio State, little old Ohio State behind Zeke Elliott, Cardale Jones. It was that team back in 2014, the second edition of the college football playoff. All right, Stricky, once again, the tiebreaker question. MLB pitcher Edwin Jackson holds the record for playing for the most different MLB franchises. How many different franchises did Edwin Jackson play for? Remind people your answer one more time.
12.
What was your answer, Strick?
8.
Either if it was 8 or it was 12, it would be over. The answer, Strick, 14 franchises for Edwin Jackson. That man played for dang near half the league.
Man, he got around. There's a song by I think Tupac Shakur. It says, "I get around." he got around. That's for sure.
Edwin Jackson got around. As a professional athlete, Strick, is there a part of you that's like, oh, it's interesting, it's unique, it's fun getting to go play for all these different teams and meet all these different guys? Or as a pro athlete, do you want maybe some more stability than playing for 14 teams over basically a 20-year career? If
you're not married, if you've married and you got family, you don't want to be moving around like that. It's dang near worse than being a high executive or a CEO or some form of I don't know, maybe a teacher or a professor or something like that. You want to kind of settle in and settle down, but if you ain't married, hey, why not? Get up, get out, and get something.
Edwin Jackson, again, 14 different franchises. The stricken goes to Texter 6279. You are the winner. 6279 will get in contact to make sure we get your information, get your $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Looking forward to being out there a couple times in the next couple months. We're just about a month out from the Super Bowl. We'll talk some NFL playoffs first round with those beginning tomorrow, so we'll get into that. Then, of course, March Madness coming up in, just a couple months and change there. Nebraska, after the loss to Iowa, Strick, didn't drop out of the field according to the bracketology that I've been seeing, but they went from an upper 8 kind of fringy 7 seed to a lower 8 or maybe a 9 seed right there. So again, I think with another day of perspective on that Nebraska loss to Iowa, it sucks. It stinks. You never want to lose to Iowa. It hurts for that reason. But in the grand scheme of things, Strick, as long as they can find a way to address the issues, Nebraska's still not in a bad spot. I really think Nebraska's in a pretty decent spot. And of course, we will be watching the action in March unfold with our great friends at Buffalo Wings and Rings. Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll keep the conversation going with the Huskers. Javen Wright returns for his 7th season. Nebraska officially signs Elijah Pritchett and then another transfer defensive back. Talked to Evan Blaine about this a little bit. If Nebraska has another 4 or 5 spots remaining on its roster to take guys out of the transfer portal, what are we looking for Nebraska to snag here before they get to spring ball? We'll get into that and more as we get into hour 2 of On the Block. You're listening to us here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fear's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fear's cheese spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fear's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: partly sunny skies this morning, then a chance of snow this afternoon. It'll be breezy too with the high near 38. Tonight, mainly cloudy and breezy with the low around 21. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies return with the high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it comes to a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, brand, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call 467-1111 or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome in hour 2 of a Thursday show. Lots going on here in Husker land. That's what we're diving into this segment. We'll get to the transfer portal here in just a minute. But first, we want to thank our friends at NEBCO for their sponsorship of the show. Check them out at nebcoinc.com. They're a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business. They've been doing it in Nebraska since 1908. 1,200 employees, 26 companies throughout the state. Their operations span the state and supply the construction industry with the materials needed to construct buildings, streets, and highways. Again, check them out at nebcoinc.com. Stricky, Husker news of the day. Let's start with a return before we get to the ads. Javen Wright makes his return to Nebraska. He says he will play a 7th season of college football for the Huskers. Your reaction to that news?
My initial reaction is good. Good for him that he has the ability to be able to play and come back. We also are looking at maybe Deshaun Singleton, what's going to happen if he's able to return that JUCO year. So I think it's good because he was a solid contributor. I mean, he was somebody that also knows pretty much the system. He understands now the building of the culture. He understands, where he fits and also will put himself in a great position to be a leader in that in the group as well on the defensive side of things. My then topic of discussion goes towards, is there a time frame? Like we've seen now where there's players getting 7 years, 6 years. You also can look at Cam Rising. You can look at a whole bunch of other guys that have come through. Even if you want to look at Ty Robinson, I mean, you look at it. Is there a time frame? Like I've always been in a position where we knew that a time clock started, and we knew that time clock was limited. Like I couldn't even imagine, staying 6, 7 years. There was a movie out. And I'm trying to think of what it was called, but it was these college students, and they had been in school for 6, 7 years, and hadn't graduated, and still in school and still doing their thing. And like at some point, it's like you got grown men, you've got grown men playing against kids, and to me, is like, does there need to be a time frame? Is there need to be a restriction on those things? I think also we've talked about the transferring. How much is too much? I think you start to lose. You get lost. Just think about that, right? If you're jumping from basket to basket and you've got a bunch of dirty clothes in there, all of a sudden you can find the clothes getting lost before they can get clean. So it's a wild thing for me, but if you're able to do it, I understand injuries happen, but at some point, is there a time frame or is there a restriction needed to when you're talking about like what's too long? Is 10 years too long? We're going to find somebody to get 8 years.
We already had a guy with 9.
Right. What's too long? Can Stricky come back and get an extra year? You know, something. Shoot, I mean, dang. I mean,
what do you think? What do you think the restriction should be? How many years?
I mean, I think when you're getting into 5 and 6, I think that's a long time. You know what I mean? But I can't fault people, you know, especially that have dealt with injuries. If you're within that time frame, I guess, what is it, 4 games or 5 games? I guess. And
4 now.
You end up with an injury. Okay, I get it, but you know, I don't know. I'm just throwing the question out there. It's just a wild thing to me.
I'm with you. This is not a Javen Wright specific take. This is just a general take, right? Because I do think for Nebraska, it's an interesting piece to have back. I'm kind of over the hype, though, right? I hope that year 7 is it for Javen Wright. But Strick, I think about it, like, you played minor league baseball, right? You get to minor league baseball, you get drafted, you make your way through the ranks. You typically get excited about younger guys, right? When they get promoted from single A to double A to their cup of coffee in the major, start the next year at triple A, then they get their call up, whatever it is. But you get more excited about a prospect the younger they are, not the longer they're in the system. Because the longer that you're there in the minor leagues without really sniffing the major leagues for more than a week at a time, it's, oh, okay, he's an older prospect. Maybe he's putting it together. Maybe he's figuring it out. There were stops and starts. And then eventually just become organizational depth, right? If they really need a guy or they need someone to fill out the roster in AAA, that's where you're at. But you're not really a part of the long-term plans, right? I think it's good for Nebraska to get a kid with a good head on his shoulders like Javen Wright back for the locker room, for culture development, all that sort of stuff. But as a player, I don't know how much we can count on Javen Wright, right? He does play in 9 games last year after recovering from his health issues. 2022, he played in 11 games. In 2023, he played in 12 games. He's had decent impact, not elite impact, right? And I'm not saying his time is past because like we've seen in college basketball, when you're older, you're a grown man, you have grown man strength, grown man reaction, grown man speed. Sometimes that hits different. It feels different. That's why we've seen older college basketball teams really succeed ever since COVID, especially, is when that took off. But I don't know how much to count on Javen Wright being a star for Nebraska right now. Because if he was a star, yeah, you can say the injuries took some of that away, potentially. But I would have liked we would have seen a star breakout by now. Hope the best for Javen Wright. Glad that he's back for Nebraska. I'm just not going to put, sky high expectations on him. But that gets me to your point too, Strick, about the timeline, the time frame. And I don't want to sound callous, but I do think at some point we do have to be realistic about it. I get the idea of a redshirt year. It's not my favorite thing, but okay, fine. You can talk me into a redshirt year. Even injuries, right? Again, without sounding callous, stuff happens. Guys get hurt. It is wildly unfortunate, but do you get redshirt years in pro sports? No, it's just, hey, sorry you get hurt. We didn't wish this on you, but it happens. It's not like, oh, I got hurt, so I have to trick some team into giving me, or I have to petition the league into giving me an extra year onto my career because I got hurt. It sucks when guys get hurt, especially ones that have this potential when they come out of high school. That's like, oh yeah, this guy's really going to be something. But at some point, Strick, life be lifing. Life happens, right? Not everyone's journey is a straight line. Not everyone's journey is the rocket ship. Sometimes you get injured. You don't know why it happens to you. It's unfortunate that it happens to you, but it happens. At some point, though, I think it's kind of ridiculous when guys are in college for this long. Now, if they're there, they're getting their education, they're going for a master's degree, a doctorate degree, whatever the heck it might be, good for you. But for these guys that are just, again, I'm not saying this is Javen Wright, so do not take this as a Javen Wright specific take. But across college football, we're running into a double whammy of a situation because of you get a guy that gets injured, you get a guy that redshirts, and then you get the COVID year. Guess what? That's 3 redshirts on top of the 4 years they can play anyways, gets you to 7. At some point, I'm sorry, give it up and move on. You had your shot. It didn't work out for you. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. But holy cow, just move on, right? Crap happens. We all have to adjust sometimes. Let's keep it moving.
Well, here's the thing about it, right? Especially now. Think about that now when you have to get your roster down to what's the number? 105, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get your number. So if your goal is obviously it's a trick pony because your goal is to win games, try to get 2 championships, the college football playoff. On top of, you're still trying to build a foundation. You're still trying to build young players, and you're limited now another spot, because you've got a grown man that's there, and now you don't get a chance to see if this young player can develop, he can grow, or you can build something within your program structure. So it's a tough dynamic, man, and it's one that it's going to be tough to figure out, because some of these teams are still having to deal with that element.
And this is where, again, I don't want to come off as callous, but I do want to introduce an element of realism into the conversation here. So, let's just use the Cam McCormick example, right? The guy that has been in college since 2017. He played 2017, 2018 with Oregon, off in 2019 due to an injury. 2020 was the COVID year, and then he played 4 more years. He's had 4 senior years. Strick, he was listed as a senior at Oregon in 2021, a senior again at Oregon in 2022, and he's had 2 straight senior years at Miami. For the total of his career, Strick, he played in 55 games over essentially 6 years, right, with the 2 that you count out due to injury and due to COVID, another injury in there as well. A couple of them. He played 1 game and 2 games a couple seasons at Oregon. He had 32 catches for 273 yards and 7 touchdowns. 3 of them this last year at Miami, right? So sure, maybe his career ends on a little bit of an uptick, but you've gone through the draft process. Teams value youth too. There's a point where you're old enough to come in and play right away. Another point where you are what you are. It's not happening. Just give it up, And for Cam McCormick, maybe that's a guy that really struggled to figure out what he wants to do after college. And it's taking him that long to figure it out. No. I don't want to say we all have it figured out right away. It's very rare to have it all figured out right away. But I don't want to see college sports turn into guys just holding on for one last ride, hoping something's going to happen. At some point, just face the facts. Be honest with yourself. I gave it a shot. It wasn't in the cards for me. Let's find something I'm excited about to move forward with.
And, well, here's the thing about that, too. Like, to some of them, if you're able to be there and you have some form of an impact on a team, Austin, that NIL money looks good. I mean, a lot of college athletes, a lot of college students, they come out of college and they're probably not going to find a job initially, depending on what their whatever area of business or whatever area of science or whatever they go into. Some of them may not find that. So if you're doing pretty good in the NIL, you don't really have too many responsibilities. Your living situation is taken care of. You eat well. You still get to travel and suit up, and you realize, as you said, that the next level is probably not in the cards for me. So then at that point, it looks like a pretty good deal at the end of the day. And so that could be why some of them stay.
Of course, it's why the players want to stay. That I have no trouble understanding. But for a team, why are you keeping guys like this around? Like, let's use another example here, Strick. Maybe like a quarterback, right? That's been in college for 4 years, came out as a 4-star, whatever, had a couple starting cracks, transferred to a few different schools, and is now just a backup, kind of holding down a clipboard for someone. I can understand the value of that player to a team to some degree as a mentor, as a guy that's walking a young quarterback, through his paces for a first time. But also, if you're a program, why would you rather pay a 6th-year guy to hold a clipboard and maybe give him a few reps? Would you rather pay a guy to do that or go get another freshman out there, take actual reps and see what you have in a player for the next few years? I don't always understand the value trade-off, for a team.
That's the way I see it too. I think younger players, you see that definitely. I've seen collective bargaining agreements set things up for that methodology, what you just said, to be able to get young talent, young players. It seems as if the G League is the place where, in basketball, the G League is the place where older careers go to kind of try to just hang around for a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Some people just don't want to go overseas, and some people don't want to go into the job market. The job market to some is, pretty tight right now for some people in their minds, So yeah, man, that's understandable.
Let's just go to the text line here since we're having a good conversation. 9657 says, Cam Rising at Utah. How many years has he been there? Strick, Cam Rising was in the same high school recruiting class as Trevor Lawrence. They graduated high school in 2017. Trevor plays 3 years at Clemson. He's played 4 years for the Jacksonville Jaguars, going into year 5 next year. Cam Rising graduates high school in 2017, same as Trevor Lawrence. 1 year at Texas. He's been at Utah for 6 years, and he could be eligible for a 7th. Just at Utah alone. Like, Cam Rising is another guy I would say, dude, give it up. I'm sorry you've gotten injured, but guess what? It's the way of the world. If you've been in, who would want to be in college since 2018? Not me. I won't get it out, Ricky. I'm not hanging around that long. Absolutely not.
Just think about it like this, Austin. You're hanging around campus like that long, you end up looking like Bill Belichick.
Dang.
And if you know, you know.
Not wrong.
If
Not
you
wrong.
know, you know.
Virginia Pirate says, do you guys know if college credits transfer from state to state? I don't know if it's the same, but I transferred from a JUCO in Kansas to play basketball at a school in Nebraska, and some of my credits didn't transfer. It's not always a one-to-one, and that's another part of the trickiness, Strick, is that I don't know why credits don't transfer. That's never made any sense to me. Like, a class should be a class. It should count the same, but it doesn't, which is another piece of the puzzle that I'm sure there's a good reason for that people smarter than me have put in place. But that's another situation where, at least from my perspective, the NCAA isn't doing its student athletes any favors by not helping credits transfer. If you've taken a class, you've taken a class. If you've shown up for class, you've shown up for class. You should have learned something. Why are we making it hard for credits to transfer over? Give these student athletes credit for the academic work they put in.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
That's one I just can't even wrap my head around. I mean, obviously it's a topic of discussion because it's happening right in front of us. But definitely the text line has a few thoughts on it. We can continue on there.
Big Haas says, yes, but unlike the NFL where you can play for 5-10 years if you're good, you can only play for 5 years in college. So that's why they have the medical red shirt and the red shirt. That's why they don't have it in the NFL, because you can play for multiple years. Big Haas, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? The NFL doesn't set a limit on how long you can play, and that is a benefit for guys who make it to the league. That is a perk of being the best of the best and going on to the greatest professional football league in the world, is that there is no cap on your career, right? It's up to you. It's up to teams to sign you or not. That's different than college, right? NFL is the highest level. What is necessarily the need for all these older guys returning to college, right? I sure, I can understand 5 years to play 4. You could talk me into 5 years to play 5 for all I care. But when we start getting into 6th and 7th years, especially after we get past COVID, that's where it doesn't make any sense to me. If this is the highest level that a guy is going to play at is college football, he's not going to make it to the NFL. Hey, he gave it a run. He did his best. It just wasn't in the cards. Why do we need to let guys continue to hang around? Why can't we move them in and out and get them onto bigger and better things instead of keeping them around? I don't know, Strick. I don't know. I'm more fired up about this than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It really is. It's a tough one. And I can't fault them. Them. It's that thing, that dream that you've had. It's running through that tunnel. It's getting out on that field. It's being around the guys. I mean, when people ask me, Austin, do you miss it? Do you miss it? I don't. I don't miss the league, but I tell them all the time. I said, what I miss is I miss the camaraderie. I miss the fellowship. I miss being around the guys. Not necessarily all the training, not necessarily all the games, not all. Shoot,
Turkey would have been a load management guy today.
Today I missed the money, but the way they giving away like the lottery. But other than that, no. And even on that note, I don't miss it at that level. But some guys just love that part of just being around the guys. It's a routine. It's a familiarity that you have, that there's a little fear, there's a little apprehension, there's a little, being scared of what's next. Like, what do I do next? And it's the same thing in sports for us professional players. Like, what do I do afterwards? Like, what's the next thing for me? And some of them, it's tough when you have to face that dilemma in your life. So, that's where a lot of it comes from.
And I don't want to discount that. I absolutely don't, because we all come to some of those moments in our lives. But Strick, like we've talked about a couple times in the last couple weeks on the show, make sure you're there for a purpose. If you're just there because you're scared of what comes next, guess what? It's human to be scared of what comes next, to step into something unfamiliar. But if you're just sticking around in college athletics and college football, whatever it is, just to kick the can down the road because you don't know what you're going to do next, that's where I have a little bit of a, come on, man. Like, I'm sorry, but you can do it. It'll be okay. Just go try something. But if you're there for a purpose, fine. Okay. Do I love it? No. But if you're bettering yourself, if you're setting yourself up for the future, I guess I see more of a path to that. I just want to make sure that in college athletics, these young men, these coaching staffs, these programs legitimately have a plan to make themselves better, and that they're doing it for the right reasons. And they're not just delaying the inevitable by kicking the can down the road.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's I don't even know if there's really a right or wrong answer to this one, Austin. It's just,
no,
it's a topic of discussion. It's something that happens. I think it happens for coaches too. I think it happens for men in business. I think it happens in churches for pastors. Like, it's one of those things. This is just not a sports or collegiate thing. It happens in life too, because I've been to some churches where it's like, okay, pastor, yeah, it's your time.
15 minutes was good.
Turn over to the young fella, or the young woman, or the young fella, whatever. Turn it over. It's time, pastor. You come on now. You've been doing this too long, and so it happens. It happens.
It absolutely does. Coach Hoffman on our text line says transfer credit not being equal is based around academic integrity and the High Learning Commission accreditation. Yeah, that's all above my pay grade. But again, this is where maybe moving forward, what college sports can look at, Strick, is if you are a member of the Power Four, the top 70 that we've talked about a few times, 72, whatever it turns into, your credits, right? Yeah, Northwestern and, I don't know, Arizona State probably don't have the same level of academic prestige like you would consider it if we look at, U.S. World Report or whatever in their college rankings. But if they're both there to play football, why can't we grade them on the same standard for the football? I don't know. It's above my pay grade. We just go to break. We're kind of talking in circles. Let's go to break. Let's reset. Who are some athletes that retired in a different uniform than you remember them? That's kind of what the Edwin Jackson question from the shootout with Strick was about. We'll talk about some athletes that finished their career outside of the jersey. You knew them and loved them, and we'll do that as we continue on the block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Join us Friday, January 10th as the Lincoln Stars host USA Hockey National Team Development Program for Star Wars Night at the Ice Box. It's the first of two games this weekend, January 10th and 11th, as the Stars take on the U-17s in a pair of games at the Ice Box. Don't forget to join us on Saturday as well, as it's Buddy Pass Night in the capital city. Tickets for both games are available for purchase now, and you can head over to LincolnStars.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: partly sunny skies this morning, then a chance of snow this afternoon. It'll be breezy too with the high near 38. Tonight, mainly cloudy and breezy with the low around 21. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies return. The high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Ella Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
New year, new you? Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping can help make sure you keep that resolution this time. Our proven system combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition, along with our expert coaching to make sure you're moving forward toward your goals. The next 10-week challenge starts January 11th, but if you enroll now, you can start today and get a head start on those gains for no extra cost. Plus, head to fxblincoln.com and you can save $100. Don't wait. Barrel's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Early break.
I need to know what the definition of a chandelier is.
Chandelier?
Yeah. That's the same too?
I think so.
When I think chandelier, I think like an old-timey big light that's fancy, that's bedazzled, basically. It's got fancy looking...
Yeah.
It's not jewelry, but It's got fancy elements to it.
No, I know what you mean.
That's a regular, nice light.
Hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, brought to you by the people over at Nebco. Check them out at nebcoinc.com. They're especially looking for some mechanics for their constructors brand and CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. Stricky, we didn't have a chance to talk about it when it happened. I'm still a little surprised by it, trying to wrap my brain around it. Justin Verlander signs with the San Francisco Giants. The man must really like pitching in some shade of orange. He starts his career with the Tigers. He goes to the Astros and now the San Francisco Giants. He's 42 or going to be 42 years old by the start of the season. Just kind of hanging on after what is assuredly a Hall of Fame career. I mean, he's been one of the best pitchers of his generation. It's really him and Kershaw, I think, in that conversation for guys from that era. But Strick, Justin Verlander is going to be an interesting case, I think, for people to look back on, not just his Hall of Fame candidacy, because again, I think he's in, but what jersey does he wear when he goes into the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, I remember him first with the Tigers and how dominant he was winning the Cy Young and helping the Tigers get to the World Series. But then he wins one with Houston. It was a big part of that team down there after everyone wrote him off, right? He goes under the knife, has some surgery, some health issues in Detroit. People saying, what's his velocity going to look like? Is he still going to have the same bite on his breaking stuff? Is this the end of a dominant career? Kind of like we were talking about with the other guys in college. Was Justin Verlander signing with Houston, just him hanging on, trying to get one more shot? Clearly not. There was a lot left in the tank for Justin Verlander in Houston, and now he goes to San Francisco. So I'm really curious to see how that works out for him, how that helps or hurts his Hall of Fame case, how people view him. But it just got me thinking about all sorts of other athletes that finished their careers in a jersey that you probably won't remember down the line. I probably won't remember Justin Verlander more than likely finishing his career with the San Francisco Giants.
Facts.
But that's different than like Emmitt Smith. Like, that he finished his career with Arizona, even though you think of him as a Dallas Cowboy for what he did in breaking the NFL rushing record and holding on to that. Who are some of those athletes for you that it's kind of weird to see them finish their career in a different uniform than the one you know them from?
Well, I've got a few in different sports, but one particular, and it was because I was there in Dallas, and I was very familiar with him. Got a chance to meet him a few times, and he was a big name there. And that hockey player was the name of Mike Modano. Mike Modano, to me, will be remembered as a star, and not even remembered that he played with the Detroit Red Wings. I don't even fathom that in my mind that he played with the Detroit Red Wings. That's one. You got to look at Allen Iverson. Obviously, you're going to remember him as a Sixer, and that short stint that he had there with the Denver Nuggets. Some may not even recall or remember that aspect of it, but some might.
In Memphis.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Answer went to Memphis, Stricky.
That's a crazy dynamic. Another big one you've got to definitely look at, because you're going to remember the championship, but you don't even recall or remember. Well, you probably do, but the fact that Ray Allen, you're going to remember him from Miami, you're going to remember him from Boston, but do you remember him being a Sonic playing up in Seattle or a Buck, right? It's a crazy thing with how they transfer there. That's another name that I'm going to throw out. But here's a big one. What about Wilt Chamberlain? Where do you remember Wilt Chamberlain? 402-464-5685. A lot of people remember him from Philly, right? But some will forget that he was a Laker.
He was a Laker.
Even worse than that he was a Golden State Warrior.
That's right. That's right. Was he a Golden State Warrior or a San Francisco Warrior?
Right. There you go. San Francisco. Right. San Francisco. That's one to remember. And you're always going to remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a Laker. But do you remember him as a Buck? Averaging 30 points per game as a Buck.
Cold.
And what about Charles Barkley?
Chuck, he's Philly and Phoenix for me.
Yeah, but you mostly remember his MVP runs as a Sun, but you don't remember him the round mound of rebound getting busy for the Sixers. Some people don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Just a thought. Clyde Drexler's another one.
Portland and Houston.
Portland and Houston. Moses Malone. You don't even remember Moses as really a Rocket.
No, not in the slightest.
Right?
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, there's some out there, man, that you got to think about. And even you got to go about the one of the GOATs in Oscar Robinson. You don't even remember him being a king.
Yeah, I do. He was a king and a buck.
Yep.
Yeah. How about a modern one, Stricky? Where did Carmelo Anthony play after he left the Knicks?
Denver.
No, he started with Denver. Then he went to New York.
Was it the Lakers?
He finished his career with the Lakers, but he played for 3 teams between the Knicks and the Lakers. Do you know who Melo played for?
Was Phoenix one of them?
It was not Phoenix, but they are all Western Conference teams.
Houston?
Melo was in Houston in 2018-19, but only played in 10 games there. The year before that, Stricky, he played 78 games for Oklahoma City.
I remember. Okay. Yeah.
Then he goes from Houston to Portland. Got 2 years of Melo in Portland. Don't forget, somewhere in there, he got traded to the Hawks, but never suited up for him.
Wow. What about your boy Keith Van Horn?
What about my boy Keith Van Horn?
Where do you remember him at?
I don't remember Keith Van Horn.
Do you remember? Okay, let me throw this one at you. The smooth lefty from Croatia that played with the Bulls, Tony Kukoc.
Oh, Kukoc. Ooh, Kukoc. Was he a king too?
He played with me with the Bucks. A lot of people don't remember that.
That's
Lot
right.
of people don't remember Tony with me with Milwaukee. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Tricky. We have this one from the text line. Jerry Rice, you know him from the 49ers. Who are the 2 other teams Jerry Rice played with?
Was it Baltimore?
It was not Baltimore. He finished his career in Seattle, but he went from San Francisco to Oakland.
Oh, I do remember that. Was it Tim Brown and him, or was it he had a combo? Who was it Terrell? No, it wasn't Terrell.
Wasn't T.O. No.
He had a combo there. He played alongside somebody. Who was it? 402-464-5685. Who was his running mate there as a wide receiver for when Tim was
D-Man and Thunder Knock Collins are saying it is Tim Brown.
It was
Tim.
Tim.
Tim Brown. Good call, Tricky. Good call. Old Dad 34, Charles Barkley played in Houston also.
He sure did.
Yeah, that's a good call.
And listen, Charles Barkley was one of the ones that helped mentally me propel myself as an NBA player. We were playing down there in Houston. I had a really good game against them, and I played really well. And I saw him in the back when we were walking out of the tunnel. And Chuck walks by me, and we're both from Alabama. And I said, man, Chuck, I followed you. Obviously, I was born in Auburn, Opelika, Auburn. And I said, man, I followed you as a young man. And he says, you know what, young fella, I really like you. I like your game. Keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, oh, man. And it gave me like this extra feel of confidence in me that helped to propel me throughout that rookie season. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Houston. That's right.
Yeah. Text line says Joe Montana from the 49ers, of course. But
Kansas
also
City.
But Stricky, how about this? How about another Joe Namath? Where did Joe Namath finish his career?
Was it the Colts?
The Rams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Thunder Knock Collins, we did hit Emmitt Smith in Arizona. Stricky, where did Patrick Ewing finish his career?
I want to say somewhere in Florida.
Was it?
It wasn't the Heat. It's got to be Orlando.
He finished with Orlando. That is correct. What about Willie Mays? Where did Willie Mays for baseball finish his career?
I remember Willie Mays with San Francisco.
So does everyone.
There's something about me that says he went east or he went to Detroit.
Right colors. There's the Mets, Stricky. Willie Mays.
I knew he went east. I felt like it was somewhere east.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about John Smoltz? Do you remember John Smoltz?
The John Smoltz I remember was Atlanta.
Correct. He went to Boston, but his final MLB team, the St. Louis Cardinals.
I wouldn't have remembered that. But I got one for you, Austin. I got one for you.
What you got?
Roger Clemens.
Ooh, Roger Clemens, the Sugar Lane Skeeters. No, so when I think of Roger Clemens, I think of Houston Roger Clemens. I think of him with the Astros. I know he was with the Yankees. I know he was with the Red Sox. I want to say Boston.
Yeah. And one last one in my mind before, unless you guys or the text line goes and gets
I got
busy.
one more for you then after
Nolan Ryan. The Express.
Nolan bounced around a little bit more than I remember because I think of him with the Mets a little bit. I think of him with the Angels a little bit. But really, when I think of Nolan Ryan, I think of him with the Rangers, Stricky.
The Rangers. That's where my mind goes to. But I definitely remember him with Houston. Obviously. I remember him with Houston with the old school uniforms with the star. I do remember him there. And I bet no one gets this one.
Okay.
Phil Niekro.
Oh, Niekro is all over. He has 3 or 4 teams, I think.
Phil Niekro is all over. But there's only one I remember him. I remember him with the Braves. That's where I remember him. But he's all over the place.
What about this guy, Kurt Schilling? Who do you remember him with?
I remember him with the bloody sock in Boston.
Makes sense. Did
and
you
I think
remember?
He was with Arizona too.
He won a World Series with Arizona. He won a World Series with Boston. The bulk of his career was spent in Philadelphia with the Phillies, but he came up, Strick, with the Baltimore Orioles.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And a year in Houston as well. So
did one of the best hitters of all time. He was a third baseman, real slim, but he could hit that ball. He played for Baltimore Orioles. 402, 464, 5685. Nope.
Brooks Robinson.
Nope. Help me, Sauter Heyman text line. He had an open, kind of a funny stance and just a real smooth stroke. Oh man, one of the better third basemen of all time. He's a Hall of Famer. Help me.
I got nothing, Stricky.
Baltimore. Oh, gosh dang it.
How about this?
He's one of the best hitters of all time.
Third baseman?
Yes, and he plays short, but he's known for third base.
What?
Cal Ripken.
Yeah, that's a shortstop. That's not third baseman. That's a shortstop.
He played third in the later part of his career.
Oh, but he is known for being a shortstop.
Yeah, known for a shortstop.
That's what threw me. That's what threw me. Yeah. Let's go to break. Let's have a short crossover. We'll wrap up on the block. And then, Stricky, some of us are sipping on Thirsty Thursday. You'll have to do it in spirit. One more segment for On the Block when we get back.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit LOVBOMA.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's LO Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, partly sunny skies this morning, then a chance of snow this afternoon. It'll be breezy too with the high near 38. Tonight, mainly cloudy and breezy with the low around 21. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies return. The high near 33. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Shavers is that man. He could go down as one of the best in football at Nebraska. Good as a linebacker. Kids got good instincts.
Yeah,
got great closing speed. What more can you ask for? You want him to learn as he go, but at the same time, he got to be a student of the game. This offseason is going to be big for him.
Early break.
I need to know what the definition of a chandelier is.
Chandelier?
Yeah. It's the same too?
I think so.
When I think chandelier, I think like an old-timey big light that's fancy with the bedazzled, basically. It's got fancy looking.
Yeah, of course.
It's not jewelry, but it's got fancy elements to it.
I know what you mean.
That's a regular nice light
hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back one final time here during On the Block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. This segment is the crossover brought to you by Love Volleyball Omaha. Their inaugural season starts January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena in Ralston. Get your tickets online at lovb.com. You'll see former Huskers Jordan Larson, Justine Wong-Arantes, Maddie Kubik, Lauren Stivrins, and Lexi Rodriguez in action. 402-464-5685. You guys are busy on the text line as we welcome in Jay Foreman. First of all, Jay, what's up? How you doing?
What's going on?
We have been talking about athletes that played in a place you might not remember them from.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about the NFL, who are some of those guys that come to mind for you that look weird in a different uniform from what you remember him in?
Well, Jerry Rice one, I think he didn't I'm looking here right now. He played at Seattle, right? For like 3 games or something like that with the Seahawks.
He was in Seattle for, I believe, 2 years, but he played with Oakland for that 1 year.
Well, no, I think, right? Well, I thought he was at Oakland because then they go to the Super Bowl.
And then he went to Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then didn't he go to Denver too or something with Mike Shanahan? And then he left.
I thought you just
the crazy one for me also, I forgot about this one, was Neon Dion.
Yeah, he went to
he started though, you forget he started in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And he ends in Baltimore. That's where his foot got messed up.
Right.
You forgot about the Baltimore.
The thing with Dion was he was friends with Ray Lewis. He had been retired, and then they had some defensive back trouble, and then he goes and plays for 2 years. Even when I saw Bruce Smith when we played against him at that time they were called the Redskins, it looked different.
Mm-hmm.
But he still was very productive. You remember, I think O.J. Simpson played for the 49ers.
Oh, that's so weird.
I think
that's
he
so
did.
weird.
Yeah,
that's
I think
weird.
And then I think just looking here.
What about Reggie White?
With Carolina? I don't know if he ever played.
But you remember him with Green Bay. You remember him with Green Bay.
Yeah.
Reggie White did play in 16 games with Carolina after taking 99 off.
Yeah. And then just looking here, Joe Namath, I think, played
the Rams.
Yeah. And then sometimes back then you didn't have a choice. I don't think you had a lot of free agency or anything like that, but it's just it's no different than seeing Jordan with the Wizards.
There's that one.
Right. It happened.
But people remember that one,
Yeah, because he still was a good player, but it just looks different. Just imagine Larry Bird playing for like the Timberwolves or something.
Okay, let's have this conversation. 2 different sports. Who was better, MJ on the Wizards or Peyton Manning on the Broncos?
Who? Well, you gotta give Peyton he won.
You gotta give him the nod. You
Yeah.
gotta give Peyton a nod.
Yeah.
Did have the NFL record for touchdown passes that 1 year in Denver too. 55 of them.
Yeah, and he still was serviceable when he was injured that last year. He just knew how to play the right way, and so I'll give it to Peyton, even though Jordan was still very productive. I think when you think about it, Strick is like when Allen Iverson was bouncing around all the time. He was up in Detroit for a little while, Denver,
Memphis,
which then it was like, and they weren't. Then it, the thing is, he was too good to come off the bench, legacy, and then they just never used him because they felt like they knew they weren't good enough organization. Yeah. And he was blessing with his presence, but they didn't use it in the right way, I didn't think.
Yeah. Hey, here's one, Jay. Dwayne Wade.
When he went, where did he go?
Chicago, and
that's why I threw it at you. That's wild, right? Cleveland.
That's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to throw Shaq in the mix. Ooh.
Where did Shaq end his career? Where did he end his career? Either
Cleveland.
I'm gonna say Cleveland.
Or was
I think it was Cleveland.
He was like 300. He was like 400 pounds.
Shaquille O'Neal ended his career in Boston.
Oh,
it was Boston. He went from Orlando for 4 years to the Lakers for the bulk of his career. Had the 3 years in Miami, and then he gets traded to Phoenix at the end of that year. Plays an extra year in Phoenix, 1 year in Cleveland, and then 1 year in Boston at age 38.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and pause 10 seconds for station ID, and then we got a lot to run through on the text line. People are fired up about this, so we'll run through that list when we get back here, too, on the block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We're just going to
What
run
about
through
Dirk? What about Dirk?
Here's just a map. Here's just a map.
I was trying to see if I trick y'all. I was trying to trick y'all on that one.
What does he think we are?
You almost sold it, Strick. I mean,
I know.
you had a lot of authority behind your voice, though, brother.
Let's just go through these chronologically, bottom up. D-Train, as a Chiefs fan, it made me sick when Neil Smith went to the Broncos. Box neighbor Marcus Allen started with the Los Angeles Raiders and then the Chiefs. Meal Ticket says, what two teams did Randy Moss play for before he retired back with the Vikings?
New England was one. He went buck wild in New England. Yeah.
San Fran and
San Fran.
Wasn't it Minnesota too?
That's where he started.
Yeah, I think Titans.
No way Randy Moss was a Titan. There's no way. Right?
I don't think Randy Moss was
Randy Moss. Okay. The Raiders. He's with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Vikings, Raiders, Patriots. He was with the Titans and the San Francisco 49ers. I do not remember him as a Titan.
Yeah, that's reading it right here.
Dang.
Just Google.
D-Man, Dennis Rodman.
What about Megatron? Megatron.
He was just a lion, Stricky. Stop trying to trick us. Jeremy in Lincoln. He finished in Seattle, but Griffey had a stint with the White Sox. That's weird to think about.
That's weird. That's real weird.
Like,
That's
why?
weird.
Who do you guys remember Alex Rodriguez playing with?
Who cares?
The Yankees.
Who are the other two teams?
I know he played with the Rangers too.
Where did he start though? Where did he start though?
Seattle.
Let's see. Roger Craig with Minnesota. Someone says. Albert Pujols being an Angel after he was a Cardinal. Randy Johnson going from Seattle to Arizona. But where did Randy Johnson start his career?
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Montreal.
Ooh.
He was an Expo.
Oh, that's right.
He was an Expo. Yeah.
He was an Expo.
Pedro Martinez was an Expo.
Really?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Where did Pedro Martinez finish his career, though? We think of him in Boston. You think of him with the Mets, maybe. But where did he finish his career?
The Yankees.
No.
Strick.
Philly.
Really?
Strick.
Pedro finished his career with Philly.
I'm off. That was a good one.
Someone says
Big Papi? What about Big Papi?
You think of him with the Red Sox, but where did he start? Where'd Papi start?
Yeah, Jay. Where'd Papi start, Jay?
He started with the Twins. I know that personally. I knew that. The Twinkies.
That he did. Someone's trying to say. I forgot about this guy.
One. What about you, Jay? You gotta know this one. What about the little pug? The little pug. Little Stumpy that played in Minnesota.
Kirby Puckett?
Kirby Puckett.
Put some respect on that man's name, Strick. That's just rude.
He only played with the Twins.
No.
Right?
No. Kirby played for a couple teams.
After the Twins?
I think before the Twins.
Oh, it don't matter before the Twins. He was just a minor league, like.
Oh, no, that's right. He was just with the Twins.
Oh, shoot. I thought I got y'all.
For some reason, I picture Kirby Puckett in a Blue Jays uniform, too.
I thought it was somewhere in Canada, too.
Huh. Okay, Rajon Rondo played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Good Lord.
8 NBA teams. You think of him in Boston. Where else do you think of Rajon Rondo playing?
I know he played with the Lakers.
He's with the Lakers.
They won a championship, right?
That was the year
I think
after.
the bubble.
This year after. Oh, 9. I missed one. I misread. So 9 different franchises. So Boston and the Lakers. He went from Boston to Dallas. The Mavs traded for him.
Yeah, Strick.
He goes from Dallas to Sacramento, Sacramento to Chicago, Chicago to New Orleans, New Orleans to Los Angeles. Los Angeles trades him to Atlanta. Atlanta trades him to the Clippers, where he plays 18 games. Back to the Lakers after they win the title, and he finishes his NBA career in Cleveland.
Wow.
Hey, man, there's an old saying that you want to have as many NFL helmets in your office as possible.
But how many's too many?
There ain't no, hey, like, what's his face that plays for I don't know where he's at. He's still in the league. He's been a couple places twice. There is not. You want to keep getting that check.
Fair.
Because most players aren't going to have to be. Will never be like Shaq and Allen. You know, protecting a legacy and stuff like that.
Right. Kip is asking. We'll wrap up with this. Can you guys name all the teams that Shaq played for?
Nope.
Stricky, we'll give it a go.
We just did it.
We didn't name all of them.
Look at Strick. Come on, Strick.
Yeah, just go through it chronologically, Stricky.
Puff,
Let's go through it.
I know he started in Orlando.
He
went to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Then he went to the Suns.
No.
I'm looking at it right here. He went to the Heat.
Oh, the Heat. Then the Suns.
Yeah. And the Suns.
Then Cleveland.
And Cleveland.
Then Boston.
And Boston. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Good stuff. There you go, Kip. We did it. Two of us were looking at it, but Stricky made his way.
What about Dwight Howard? Now.
Ooh. Dwight went to he started with the Magic. Dwight was with the Rockets for a while. He was with the Hawks. He was with the Lakers. Anyone else?
Yeah, he played somewhere else, but then
he played in China.
Shanghai.
Philly.
Shanghai. He went to Philly.
Washington.
Wow.
Charlotte.
No, I don't remember
Not in
those.
that order,
That's crazy.
Yeah, he got loose in Charlotte.
Will Charlotte do that to a man?
I don't know. Nah, he got into some stuff he shouldn't have been getting into. I think I remember.
Dang. Let's just go ahead and leave.
Remember they didn't vote him in the All-Star game because he was doing too much.
That part. Let's just leave it at that. Stricky, it's been fun. We'll talk to you tomorrow, partner.
Mañana.
Don't go anywhere. We got Old School coming up. DP and Jay, led off by Kevin Meyer of Myers, Cork, and Balda for Thirsty Thursday. Thanks, Nebco. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to hear their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued